Yeah, what's up, kids and queens? We're back again with live. We're going to talk about the mayoral trial. We're going to react to what was happening today in court. Right. I thought we had had enough of the prison officials. Yesterday, right? Yesterday, they avoided bringing the culprit, the person who was supposed to answer for his, misdoings, misgivings, whatever, right? Now, today, Mr. Koza, I think he thought that, no, I'm the head. I'll take charge of this. I'll control the judge, and then the judge will rescind his judgment. It was not to be. Before we do all of that, before we react to what was going to happen, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when we drop more content like this, you are in the loop. Now, we know that yesterday the judge gave an order that accused number five, Mr. Uh, Fiso Ntuli, right? He was supposed to be taken to look up from Kosimampur, right? Now those guys, I think that decision hit them, rubbed them the wrong way. That they felt like their image is going to hit a knock, and the public is going to take them. Otherwise, they decided no, we have to appeal this, but they appeal it the wrong way, right? Rather than just consulting consulting with their people, their legal department, consulting with the minister, consulting with whoever who knows the constitution, and then guide them and say, no, this is how you're supposed to do it. For now, let's leave it to run the way the judge wished for. And you could see the judge was pissed off because today it happened that he came, he sat there for some time, and still the same thing that was happening yesterday, it happened. These guys were late. He had to sit there, pretend as if nothing is happening, and then decided, no, I'm not going to give that order. I'm not going to go against my own order because the only thing that we are interested here in, that's what the judge said, is this guy is coming on time to attend this case. Now, Mr. Koza had to come in and try to explain to us how he will put his word on it, how whatever he did, it didn't convince the judge. Also, let's talk about how Mr. Baloyi keeps on referring to this video of Longwe. Even though Longwe is alive, Longwe is around, you can come and just testify and talk about what happened that other day. He doesn't want to call him. He doesn't even respond to Mr. Mnisi's plea to ask why is the state not calling Mr. Longwe. He doesn't even respond to that. That's really something to find out from that kind of silence. He didn't even respond to that. Interesting. Now let's listen to Mr. Koza of the prisons trying to reason with the judge. Obviously, the state closed this case today. The defense is gonna start now pursuing uh, you know, its options. And as I heard from SABC two, in fact, SABC News, right? There's no two, there's no one. As I heard from SABC News, there was this guy who's an analyst. He's a legal expert. He's a lawyer anyway. Uh, he's always there. He's always featured in on SABC. This guy, he said Mnisi was that application that he's referring to is an application to have the case dismissed. That would be very interesting because I could agree with that, but obviously the judge is not going to allow it. That's what the guy said because he would want to test the rest of the evidence, right? And then he would like to probably get the defense's perspective. Then he will try. He will probably be in a better position to make a ruling. Now, let's react to this guy from the prison trying to convince the judge that he will be the best he can be, and it didn't work. It backfired heavily.
Officially, Superintendent Koza, No, Commissioner Koza.
Commissioner Koza, sorry. Yeah. You know what? Like I told, I'm a simple man, and I'm 78 years. Maybe I'm the oldest in this court. Been around. If people can talk like we are talking, and I told about Mandela, and find a solution, we don't have to escalate it to wherever just because of our egos. Are you with me?
I'm with you, my lord.
I've understood your position, and I hope you understand my position.
My lord, I understand very clearly.
Yeah.
This is why I made the commitment.
Fine, and I appreciate it.
I made the commitment before this call.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. You can't live with the status quo as it is. You know, I actually joked that, you know, this gentleman, if he wants to be in Cape Town, I can make an order that he must be housed in Cape Town. Every morning he must be flown to the court so that this case can start on time. That's all I'm interested in. So if you can accommodate him to come here on time, that will be the end of the matter.
My lord,
because there is a dispute, and I don't want to know about the dispute. There is a dispute. If a person who's being ordered by a judge to come to court refuses to go to court, what should that judge do?
I'm still making a commitment, my lord, that coming to court will not be a problem. I will see to it that it is executed and they will be here before time. And I want also to indicate that it is inferences are made that there's a fight between the Department of Correctional Services and an inmate or offender. There's no such. The only problem is that we are also trying to help the court that these issues that were raised on Monday and the issues that are raised today should not affect the progress of the court. And we are going to see to it that it is happening like that. And we are well aware. And there is other things that are said by Mr. Mnisi. I will not able to go there. I just want us to be given that indulgence. And
You know, the track record, your track record prison this years for keeping time is very bad. So there's not really any room to maneuver when it comes to trying to convince the judge that you would be better. To make it worse, yesterday when the judge called for the person who was supposed to come and answer, that guy never materialized. Somebody else was brought in, somebody who had half the information. He didn't even know the number of prisoners in lockup, which he's supposed to have. Okay, we can forgive him for that. It's not his prison. He hasn't even seen the cell phone. He hasn't even seen the charge of the cell phone. So their track record doesn't speak well for them. So there's no way that they could try to say, nah, Judge, will try to stay on top of things now. No way, because you have failed. Even this morning, if you were trying to convince the judge that you will do better, this morning you would have came earlier than the judge and then be there before the judge and say, Judge, this is what we plan to do from now on. But no, you still came late, still disappointed the judge, and you expect him to rescind the judgment when it's going to affect his work as well. It doesn't make sense. Let's continue, guys. I'll come to the comments after we get through this commentary.
And we are going to do our work, and I'm going to see to it that it is done appropriately and to the best.
But the source of the problem still remains there. And I'm not saying there is a problem. You are categorizing as such. The problem is apparently between two parties.
The problem, my lord,
whether they are real or not.
No, the problem, my lord, is the lack of discipline of these inmates, which I have a personal responsibility to make sure that we deal with that discipline. Their behavior is the one that is impacting on that. But I have got to put mechanisms in place so that I must make sure that when they start with their shenanigans, the court should not be affected. It must be our own problems.
Okay, fine. Everybody, you know what? I'm going to leave the order as it stands. You can bring an application for rescission. Okay, no problem. But I've heard you and you've heard me. Okay.
I heard, my lord.
Thank you, sir.
He's very disappointed, this guy. He was expecting something else. And I think Baloyi and Gininda were behind all these decisions to, just to influence some sort of delay. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to be any of us of any assistance to them at this point. The state has closed this case, and what's amazing that it's even more telling that the state is closing this case without calling Longwe, without calling Kelly Kumara, the person they suspect as the mastermind, without calling her mother, without calling uh, Mr. Makubu, like the first people who were investigating there, who were with Kininda, to get their point of view, right? It neglected a whole lot of things. Even when the DNA excluded these guys, they still went ahead and instituted warrant of arrest and stuff like that, which up to so far, none of it convinces us, the public. The 5%ers are convinced anyway, but we are not convinced. Another thing, their star witness, the person who they claim is their star witness, Mr. Zungu, came out thanks to the masterminds, Sis Pet, and my brother Njabulo, Jeps, Kazanation. They decided, no, we're gonna take this route, and found out where this. In fact, the Zungu family reached out to Jeps. Now, Baloyi is steadfast hanging on to his video. So Mnisi is trying to understand from him. Since now you are letting go of all the witnesses, that means I have the right to call all the witnesses that I can call, even the ones that you had and you didn't call. He said, that's the law. That's Baloyi he considered. And I understand why now the witnesses, like the defense wouldn't have rushed to interview Mr. Zungu or interview some of these other witnesses that the state would have put on their list or call them their witnesses. It's because it would have been some type of medley, I suppose. Now they have the free reign. All things are it's going to be now, it's all downhill from now here for the state. Nothing is going to be looking right. So let's check the other section where now after the judge, let's just finish this judgment by the judge, and then from there we're going to listen to Baloyi rehashing the fact that he wants to include this evidence, this video, even though John Bailey of ETV renounced the invitation to come to testify, even though Longwe didn't come here to testify. He had to hammer on these two facts, that this evidence will be taken based on the fact of if it's relevant, and then based on its weight and stuff like that, which he will argue later. He had to repeat that. I don't know how many times he had to repeat that fact, that this evidence. I mean, it's a very simple thing. That's what Mnisi told him. Just call Longwe, and it's done with. But he doesn't want to. Let's see which part we can look at, and then I'll look at the comment.
Then Exhibit 8, it's a USB containing ENC footage depicting Mr. Longwe Twala on the 27th of October 2014 at the house of the Kumalos.
Mm-hmm.
Then Exhibit 8A is the series of correspondence that we handed up yesterday and placed on record. It's letters from the Office of the DPP Pretoria, letter from the Office of the National Director of Public Prosecutions, letter from the Director of Public Prosecutions, Johannesburg,
Yeah.
A request from the senior prosecutor Boxbeck requesting the magistrate Boxbeck to order for the issuing of a Section 205 subpoena against Mr. John Bailey, the news editor of ENCA.
Oh,
Then yesterday we handed up Exhibit 9. So
I mean, look at all the trouble that Baloyi went to just to get this guy to come and testify. To speak about who? Longwe. Somebody who could just, through one letter, be invited and come through. Now, how many letters did he read there? About 3 or 4. From the magistrate to the one to this other, and then from Ian's, like trying to. It's so many things that he has to go through just to call this one witness. Unbelievable.
USB containing Section 205 of all the accused except accused number 5, incorporating exhibits DD5D up to G of Ms. Kelly Kumalo Longwe and the RICA information. As we mentioned yesterday, it's basically all the information that Ms. Pinky Fratelligam testified on.
okay. It's not accompanied by an affidavit.
May I assist, my lord?
Yeah.
It is so that a document was not formally handed in. However, the content of the document in its entirety was read into record by Mr. Mabasa when he was being, I think it was re-examination by Advocate Sibanda. He read the entire record of that document, the entire content of that document into record. Thank you.
As long as you are satisfied, I don't want us to get to somewhere and then to say this judge took into consideration a document which was not proven. If you say, in your view, it's proven, fine.
It was not handed in formally as an exhibit, my lord, because I only referred Sergeant Mabasa to specific paragraph
Yeah, fine,
in that
Yeah,
report.
fine.
Then Advocate Siwanda took it up and read the entire content of that report into record.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right.
As a is my lord, then there's only one aspect that is left. We see that it's time for the short adjournment.
Yes, sir.
Can we take the short adjournment at this point?
Okay. Thanks.
You see, that's what you get from the state, all right? Baloyi was just reading, in fact, Mnisi was just reading some parts of that affidavit. And then he decided, no, Baloyi and Sibane decided, no, let's just put the whole thing into record, even though it's not being handed over as evidence. This is how they operate. They have been operating like this, shady business all the way. Sneaky attacks, ambush attacks, all those things. They've been late delivery of documents to the defense. They've been doing all kind of shady things to try to influence the outcome of this case. But we have seen through all of it. The public has seen through all of it. Less we speak about the 5%, the better. So let's jump to a further up more clip. Up there further where now Mnisi is stating what is going to happen, and he's even trying to understand from Baloyi what's going to happen. Are you giving me the witnesses? Am I having free reign over all the witnesses? Are you allowing me to now start consulting with them? And then he even put it on the table that he's going to start now putting that application via, the funders legal aid in order for them to fund that application. And as I said, that guy on SABC is a white guy. I think it's Ulrich or something like that. He said, no, that's an application to dismiss the case. So interesting to hear that. Because as Mnisi put it there, it wasn't really loud and clear, right? So I got it when that guy talked about it like that.
Of the video clip that Mr. Bailey had to come and give his testimony on. That video clip has already been admitted as evidence before court, and it was on the proviso that Mr. Bailey would come and authenticate it. Now, the court has been told yesterday in no uncertain terms that Mr. Bailey is no longer available to come and testify, and not because he's dead, but because of the agreement that the state and SANEF, South African National Editors Forum, an institution that Mr. Bailey belongs to, that he should no longer come testify because Mr. Bailey and company indicated that if he were to be forced and dragged, come to court, come testify, they will bring an agent application to bar the state from forcing him to come testify because of the standing agreement between SANEF and the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa. So as we stand now, or as things stand now, and as at this point in time, that video clip remains unauthenticated. I thought to myself that, and in fact, Mr. Bailey had indicated in an affidavit that was read into record here, where he says that when this whole thing was taken, when this video was taken, I wasn't part of it too. I was in China. So I don't know who took it, when was it taken. I only got requested to provide, as a head, to provide a recording of a video that was aired on the 27th of October 2014, which I did. But as to the finer details and the integrities around that video, I don't know nothing. So if the state proceeds to force me to come testify, I will have no option but to challenge the legality, and that is what the state was avoiding in that agent application. The legality of Section 179 of the Criminal Procedure Act that seeks to deal with the subpoenaing of journalists to come and give information where the state seeks to use the content of their information. But fast forward, my lord.
It's even worse. You see, even here, Baloyi is now trampling on the rights of reporters to report freely. It will viewed, I think it's kind of frowned upon to kind of force reporters to come and testify on something that they're not really willing to testify on. And I don't understand what kind of direction Baloyi was trying to approach by trying to call this guy, right? The video, I don't think this guy was even the shooter of the video. This guy he doesn't have certificate in, certifying people's births or recognizing people. How are we going to be sure that John Bailey really knows Longwe? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense the way Baloyi was approaching this. That guy said yesterday, they are grasping at straws. It's kind of tough for them. You can hear how many times he has to hammer on the fact that this evidence will be allowed based on weight and based on objectivity, whether it's relevant or not. Nah, man. If this is how Baloyi has been winning cases, if this is how he has been winning cases, I don't know, man. I really don't know. The lawyers he was fighting against were kind of weak. I could say that. I'm sorry for that.
We are saying it's not like all the state avenues have been exhausted. Well, I do not intend to prescribe how should the state proceed with their case or drive their case. But Mr. Longwe is there. If they still want to pursue that video, they can simply say to the defense, no, don't worry. Our avenues are not exhausted. Mr. Longwe, who's depicted in that video, is there. He's still alive. He can come himself and authenticate that video. But it seems to me like the state is not amenable to follow that, that route. So that video being part of this record, my lord, and not being authenticated as promised by the state in the manner in which it should have no longer be regarded as something that is actually part of the record. I'm not saying that it must be withdrawn. In other words, it's just a pro non scripto. It's regarded as not being existing. That was just point number one, my lord. Now, point number two. On number of occasions, Mr. Sibia has been requesting that certain information, actually the records regarding the movement of the motor vehicles that were used on the day on which he got arrested should be made available to him. I must be honest to the state, they made some endeavors to identify certain motor vehicle. There was a hard body that was involved there. They gave an explanation about the hard body that ultimately was involved in an accident wherein Mr. Map.
I just want you to just be aware of the fact of what Mnisi is requesting here, and then how many times this has been requested from Baloyi, right? And then just check the answers that are coming from Baloyi. Did he even respond to the fact that Longwe is alive, so he can come alone? Did he respond to the fact that Ngamani is somebody who was working with those guys? Did he even acknowledge the fact that he just refers you to what he says back in the day? No accountability at all, right? Let's continue, and then I'll wrap up the live. It's just a few minutes that are left in this live. I'm intending to keep it below 30 to 35 minutes. Let's go.
Then passed on. There was a Golf 7. There was also an explanation regarding or around that Golf 7 that it was not fitted with an AVL gadget. There was a hatchback. I think there was also a BMW that was driven by Mr. Buthelezi from Ekurhuleni Metropolis. There was an explanation from Ekurhuleni Police that motor vehicles from Ekurhuleni Police were not fitted then with AVL records. Much against what there's a gentleman used to sit there. Much against what Mr. Listering said, that yes, they are indeed fitted, but we're talking in 2020 when Mr. Sibia was arrested. But that's an affidavit that we received from Ekurhuleni Metropolis to the effect that their motor vehicles are not fitted with AVL gadgets. Now, Mr. Sibia keeps on hammering on a Qashqai, a silver Qashqai motor vehicle, and he consistently maintained that it was driven by Mr. Ngamani. Ngamani, I think it's a term of Mr. Masego, but he says they used to call him Ngamani. Even the investigating team itself referred to him as Ngamani. We have got no explanation on the request relating to this cash, my lord. And there is also a Ford Ranger that was allegedly also involved when he got arrested. And it was driven by a gentleman known as Bongani Yende. we haven't got an explanation on whether or not we will ultimately receive the AVL records relating to this model, the high case, my lord. May I again confirm with Mr. Sibiya if there's something that I'm missing, my lord, so that I also.
It's fine. Let's leave all of that behind now. I'm just drop my last commentary and I'll be out. The state has closed this case, and it's evident that by what just hanging on this video from ENCA Baloyi, it's evidence that we can see that it doesn't have, you know, anything that's proper, that is solid, that he can hold on to. If he really, like Mnisi is saying, they should brag and say, no, I don't think we've run out of options. ENCA has denied us this chance. Okay, we'll call now the person who's supposed to. You know why they don't call him? There's going to be problems there. I think throughout all of this, they haven't included him in the negotiations, in whatever plan they were doing. So this guy Longwe won't be well versed on that. And besides that, you remember that interview that he did with Metro back in the days? That interview was full of holes. And that interview is going to be put to him. Now that's going to be a day of reckoning for him, because he'll have to answer why he's saying this, and then the next minute he's saying this. Right. That is the reason. They won't be calling him. Right. Whether he had an injury or not, that's not really important. The important thing is what he said before. That is in public domain. That's gonna hurt him. That interview was not called for, right? I don't know who was advising them legally back in the days, but they decided to go public, most of them. So most of them couldn't like really tell a straightforward story. It's just a few who were really trained on their story to present it the way they were coached, so to say. But he was not good. He was all over the place. Hence, they're not calling him. Hence, Baloyi is not interested in calling him. But I just want to add again, if this is how Baloyi has been winning cases, wow, man, it leaves a lot to be desired. Anyway, guys, thank you for popping in. Thank you for all the people who were in the live who checked me out. Thank you for Tulu Biela who dropped comments. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that when we drop more content like this, you are in the loop. I'm out. That will be the last of our commentary, and then we out. I'll check you during when in the next stream. Peace. We out.